So today I'm going to share with you how I practice straight lines with light lines going up and heavy lines going down with this pencil. Hi everyone, this is Claudia. In the next few videos, I'll be showing you how I practice Copperplate script with a pencil. Before I go into it, I want to show you guys the beautiful goose egg art that my good friend Tanya made for me. I can't get over how beautiful it is. So I'm going to show you. See, she hollowed out the content inside and then she painted the entire egg. And then she engraved my name and her initials on here. It's so beautiful. I can't get over it. So I'm just gonna put it here for a decorative piece so that you have something to look at while I talk. It may be moved later on. So as I said, we'll be doing some pencil practice for calligraphy. Practicing with a pencil is very important because you can see where you're struggling, and from there you can figure out what and how you can improve. In Copperplate script, the script is written so that when you're going up, they are light, thin strokes, and then when you're going down, it's heavy, thick line. You won't be able to see a thick and thin line using a pencil, obviously, but you can definitely see the lead deposit. When you go light, it's very light lead deposit, and when you press down, it'll be darker shade. So if you can achieve your drills with a pencil, that's half of the battle of practicing the script. So one very important thing that I want to tell you is that when you're holding your pencil, you should be holding it the way that you're holding your pen. So I have talked about how to place your pen on the paper so that you can achieve your 55-degree slant line. So this right here, the slit that runs down, the two tines, it should be parallel to the 55-degree slant line. If, for example, if you're holding your pen this way, I'm gonna have to move this artwork. If you're holding your pen this way, you will need to rotate your paper so that you are writing your script this way. So you need to be very mindful of how you hold your pen and pencil. So I hold my pen like this. I have to also keep telling myself that when I practice with a pencil, I need to hold my pencil like this because a lot of times I end up holding my pencil on the side just because these are two different tools. So when I practice with a pencil, I need to hold my pencil like this. Same thing, when you're holding your pencil, you want the angle of your pencil to run along the angle of your script. So when you're doing up and down strokes, it will be this way. So today, I'm going to share with you how I practice straight lines with light lines going up and heavy lines going down with this pencil. I've made a video on how I sit and how I place the paper previously. So if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend that you check that out. So to recap, I'm sitting at an angle to the desk. So this is the edge of my desk. Right now, this edge of the paper, it runs parallel to the edge of my desk. And I am actually facing this way. My body is facing this way. I am at an angle. The main reason is so that my writing arm, the entire forearm, is placed on top of the writing surface. We are going to be practicing these drills with muscular movement. So to recap, the muscular movement originates from the shoulder blade, and we're going to be placing this part of the muscle on top of the desk. So as I am moving my shoulder up and down, my arm is actually moving up and down, and this part of the skin is moving up and down. And we want to limit as much as possible our finger and wrist movements. We want to develop our muscle memory for the muscular movement. So we're going to be limiting our fingers and the wrist so they are going to stay put. So as I've said before, the edge of this line is actually running parallel to the edge of my desk. So I'm sitting this way. If I'm doing the muscular movement, as you can see, it's not actually running along the script. So what I actually need to do is I need to rotate my paper so that it's running on the 55-degree slant line. And in order for me to do the stroke, let me zoom in a little bit. So we're going to do upstroke first. If I want to start my stroke at the baseline and end at the ascending height, I'm going to ghost first. Ghosting helps me with two things. Ghosting is going to allow me to figure out where my hand is in relation to where I want to write. It also tells me about the movement, the range of movement I have with the muscular movement. If my arm is down here and I am only limited to up here, so I'll need to place my arm a little bit higher up so that I can see I can start at the baseline and then moving to the ascender line, and this range of motion is good. So we're going to be starting with the upstroke. Upstroke is a very light stroke. One other tip that I want to give you is that any of the upstrokes, we will be breathing in. Okay, breathe in, out. So let's start with this line right here. So we're gonna be ghosting. And if when you're ghosting, you feel that your arm is sticking, we will get a piece of paper. So we're just going to get a piece of paper, place it down so our arm or our hand is not gonna be sticky against the paper, okay? Okay, so this is our first line. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit more. So we're going to do a critique of the line. So as you can see, my line right here has a little wiggle right there. So that's one of them. And the other one is this part of the line is very dark compared to this part of the line. And then as we're going up, we're going toward the 55, so we're not on slant. And then we're going back to where we want to be, so we're going this way. That's the first thing, the first few things that I see. I'm gonna try again with the second line. Make sure that you sit up straight and you're breathing. By sitting up straight, you don't want to put a lot of the pressure onto your writing arm. You want your shoulder to be relaxed and your arm to be free to move around as needed, okay? Ooh, there was a skipping. So as you could see, my hand was still sticking to the paper, so you could see that I was skipping a little bit. So then here the lead is a lot darker than this portion. So in the beginning it's darker, and then it went light and it went dark again. So I'm gonna try once more and see if I can do one more line. Okay, so here it is. A little bit better in terms of the angle. I'm still doing a little bit lighter touch than here, so I could do a lighter pressure to begin with so that at the end everything is consistent. And I could see that there is a slight kink here. It's a little bit wiggly, but it's not too bad. So I will leave it at that for the upstroke. So here are some of the things that you want to look at. You want to make sure that it's consistent pressure. If your light stroke is light throughout, and then is it touching the base? Is it touching the ascender line? Is it on the 55-degree angle? And you want to make sure that it's straight and there's no kinks anywhere. So those are the few things that I look at when I critique my work. So next we are going to be doing the downstroke. Downstrokes are heavier lines, and it's the same thing. So if we're going to be starting off from the ascender line coming down to the baseline, we want to touch the 2 points. We want to be on slant, and we want the pressure to be consistent. In terms of breathing, upstrokes are breathing in and downstrokes are breathing out. Okay, so we're going to try a few of the downstrokes. Ghosting first. Okay, so let's critique that. In the beginning, oh, there's a slight wiggle here. By coming down, it was okay until this point, and then I started veering off from the 55-degree line, and there's a slight curve happening over here. So we need to adjust that. So sometimes what happens is, as you're writing, if you find that you're off axis, you may need to rotate your paper slightly in order to achieve a slant angle that you want. So we're going to try again. Okay, so here there is a slight wiggle here, but we are pretty consistent in terms of the lead deposit, and we were able to touch the center line and the baseline. Other than this little wiggle part up here, and it's on slant, so I am happy with this stroke. These are some examples of how I practice the up and down stroke with a pencil so that you gain more control as you keep practicing. So make sure you keep critiquing your work after every few strokes that you make so that you can see what's going on and you can make changes. Because as we keep practicing, we're going to ingrain those habits into our writing, and if it starts off as a bad habit, then it will be very difficult to break them. We want to address them as early as possible. It's going to show you my artwork again. So that's it for today, and if you like what you see, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And let me know in the comments what you found most helpful to you in this video. And if there's something you're struggling with or have a question, leave me a comment so I can try my best to address it. If you live in Toronto, I offer pointed pen calligraphy workshops. Even though I teach modern calligraphy script, these are some of the fundamental drills that I go through with my students. That's also the reason why I made these videos, because I want my students to know that I am still with them after my workshops. And if you need any help, they can refer to these videos or they can send a message to me so I can help them along the way. So if you live in Toronto, check out my calligraphy classes. The link is down below. Thank you so much for sticking with me. That's all for today. Until next time.